Another episode of Cocktail Hour. A very special episode of Cocktail Hour. I know you're just anxious. With me today is my co-host, Shawn Blackhawk, which I know you guys have listened to before, from Bar Rags Extraordinaire. Say hello, Shawn.
Hello, everybody.
And we have special author guest today, New York Times, USA Today, and Publishers Weekly best-selling author, Yasmine Galenorn. She's
hello.
Written. Yes, hello. Sorry. Say that again.
I said hello.
Oh, yes. She's written 2 urban fantasy series, the Otherworld series, which is also known as Sisters of the Moon series, and Indigo Court series for Berkeley. In the past, she's also written a paranormal mystery series, the Chintz in China series, for Berkeley Prime Crime, a short-lived mini mystery series, the Bath and Body series, under the name of India Inc. Again, for Berkeley Prime Crime, and 8 metaphysical nonfiction books. Oh, and if you love the Otherworld series, which I can't even imagine that you wouldn't, you don't want to miss her webcomic series at www.moondaughters.net. Yasmine's busy. She's not only writing, she's involved in lectures and workshops on writing, how to promote yourself and marketing, and even hints on getting started. Her official website is www.galenorn.com, and it is our sincere privilege to welcome you to the show.
I'm here. As I said, I'm a little punchy from deadlines. So. I was waiting for you to go, okay, thank you, and then just leave and go, yes.
Yeah, that was it.
I am God, you have heard me, it's time to go.
You both are at what, the Mystericon?
I'm at Mysticon. In fact, I just had dinner with Faith Hunter, and we're going to go back after this interview and go have drinks with her and Sherilyn Kenyon, and I believe Kalana Price is going to be there.
Ah.
Oh, Sherilyn's wonderful. I love Sherilyn. She has the best laugh I have ever heard. She's really cool. She is, and she's really good with her fans. Watching her with people has really improved, I think, a lot of relations and given people the idea that they are normal, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a wonderful lady, and she's given me a lot of great advice, and I finally got to meet her in October when she was over here for Emerald City Writers Conference. Oh, wow. So we got to hang out for a while. We'll have to make that a road trip soon then to go out that direction. It's a good conference. It's a regional conference, and I think there's about 300 people there. It's just, yeah, it's good. Is that a conference? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. It's put on by the Greater Seattle Romance Writers of America group. Okay. This Mysticon that we're at this weekend is apparently done by the fans. Oh, okay. Which was new for me. Emerald City is a writers' conference, pretty much. So, we saw some very interesting people while we were waiting for Faith to get done with her reading. Costumes. It was almost like being at a Star Trek convention. A lot of cosplay, probably. Very, very much so. And it's kind of fascinating to sit back and watch people emulate and imitate the characters in so many different stories.
You can imagine that would be fascinating.
I've seen a lot of anime cosplay, and some of it's really well done. Yeah, we saw a lot of elves this evening.
Elves?
Yeah, in fact, we saw one that was about 6 foot tall and very, very thin, and we thought, I really liked her outfit. It was a handmade, almost duster-length trench coat looking back to it with this little skirt in front, and then had the leather bustier, and we thought, oh, wow, she's really, put a lot of effort into it. And then he talked. And that just took us by surprise. Oh, well, okay then, you know. Teach their own.
We have a science fiction convention out here called Norwest Con. And it's a really good place to go and look at costumes every year. I wanted to get there this year, but I decided to stick with 3 big conventions and forgo all the smaller ones at this time.
Well, you're so busy I just finished Shaded Vision, and wow.
I just finished Blood Wine and went, wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully the wows get bigger each time.
Yeah, right? Well, sadly, I waited this long to check out your work, and damn, I've been missing way too much. Now you know I'm going to have to go buy every single one out there. I'm going to be reading like a crazy fiend. Oh, man. So how many are there in the series? 15? Aren't you starting on book 16 now?
Actually, at this point, there are 12 on the shelf. Let me see. 11 on the shelves. Mm-hmm. Shaded Vision just came out. Mm. And there are 3 novellas out that go with the series. And I just turned in book 12, and I'll be starting on book 13 next week.
Nice.
I can't wait. I do have a question, though. With Delia's twin, are you going to do a story about her?
What? Have you read the rest of the series at this point?
I have.
Because she comes into play in Harvest Hunting a bit. You get to know more about her. I don't know if there will be a story directly related to her or not. A lot of the novellas and short stories depend upon whether my publisher offers me the chance to write something.
Okay, because tell your publisher, I, for one, would love to know that story, to know more about living with a death maiden.
More of that will come out in the series as I go along. A lot of their background it ekes out through each book a little bit.
True, and I'm absolutely amazed and fascinated by the way each book centers on one of the sisters, and yet you get the point of view from all 3 of them.
That was a big challenge. In fact, I did not realize I'd set myself up for writing the series that way. Because when I pitched the idea to my editor, basically it was about a page about the series and 10 pages of sample chapter. And she took it around, and a bunch of editors read it, and they all loved it, and they said, we have no clue what it's going to be about, but we'll give you a 3-book contract, and we'll figure out how to place it once we see the first book. And so I wrote the first book, which is Witchling, from Camille's point of view. And I had thought I was going to write it all from Camille's point of view. And then I turn it in, and my editor goes, oh, okay, so you're going to start on Changeling. That's from Delilah's point of view. And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And she was like, you can do it. You're good enough to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. So I wrote 200 pages of Changeling and threw it out promptly because I realized I was trying to write Delilah as seen by Camille. Mm. And then I rewrote and found Delilah's voice finally. When it came time for Menelie's book, she was right there. Menelie is in your face, right there. No problem finding her voice. But
Menelie seems to me to be sort of the kind of person I've always imagined you to be.
I'm actually more like Camille. I'm like a combination of Camille and Menelie. Which is kind of scary.
but you only have one husband now.
Yeah.
There's a sigh there I didn't expect.
I'm very, very happy with my husband, but Camille, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
Not with those 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine a dragon would be kind of interesting to have around.
Actually, as much as I love Camille's husbands, I think I do not like being protected that much. Mm-hmm. And I think I would feel smothered.
I like the way, though, that in the last few books, you've made Camille more independent, and watching her character grow to where she's telling her husband, I can do this. I don't need you to do this for me. And to watch them learn to kind of back off.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, she always was that kind of a character, but when she ended up with all three of them, all of a sudden it was like testosterone city, what do I do here? And it took some juggling around for her to figure out how to deal with them. Now in Courting Darkness, that was a hard book to write. That was a very hard book to write and put her through all of that. But she grew stronger. She grew a lot stronger.
Yeah, and her independence has really started to show. And I've really enjoyed watching all of them grow and learn. Because I know right now in Shaded Vision you're dealing more with the sisters working together, but at the same time finding their lives outside of working together.
When they first came over, they weren't sure of their place in the society, as well as within, the group as a whole. They didn't really have many friends. And then they started branching out, and then they fell into the war. And now, as they're growing stronger in their abilities to work together, their lives are also branching out. And that's the way it always is when you grow up. Mm-hmm. I mean, technically, yeah, they're 55 years old, Earthside years, but they're all in their early 20s if you go by a relative age. So they're starting to learn their own paths and how to branch out and see where they're going and decide what their lives are going to be like. And to some degree, they have limitations, of course, because of what they're doing, because of their dedication to their, the Otherworld Intelligence Agency, which comes back into play, because, for example, Camille's oath to the Moon Mother and Delilah's oath to the Autumn Lord, and mentally now having to deal with the Crimson Veil, the vampire blood. So they have certain limitations, but within those limitations, they are finding their own lives separate, just like anybody does when they grow up, just like any young adult.
Well, when you were starting to develop these characters, did you always plan on making mentally bisexual, or did that come to you later and you had to fight for it?
That was just her. I mean, she came that way. She just showed up that way. I don't consciously sit and develop my characters. They come through a subconscious. So I just sit and I find out what's going on like you do when you're reading the book. As I'm writing the book, it's like, oh, I wonder what that means. Oh, I wonder what that means. And I hope it all comes together in the end. Please let it come together in the end.
Well, damn, you got a good muse.
Eventually it does, So the characters, they're organic. I'm an organic writer, and they just evolve. They evolve out of whatever primordial creating ooze I have inside of my brain. For one thing, I'm bisexual. And so there is part of me in mentally.
How did your publisher take it when you put her with Nerissa?
Actually, they were pretty good. My editor was very supportive, and she did say, she said, I am going to warn you, you may lose some readers. And I was like, yeah, I know. But I am not going to shortchange mentally on her love life when her sisters get their explicit scenes and, I don't close the door on them. And she was like, okay, I just wanted you to think about that for a minute and make your decision. And that was all that was ever said.
Well, I think you might have lost some of the more mainstream-oriented. I've been a fan of yours for a very long time. and when I had heard the rumors that you were going to make a bisexual character, I pretty much called up every lesbian I know, and in our little incestual lesbian writing community, it spread pretty quick. And so I guarantee that you have, for those few that left you because they don't have the open-mindedness, you got a shitload of new fans from our corner of the world.
I do know I have a very large gay and lesbian readership. And, I'm very grateful for that. And it's not, to me, it's not an issue in my writing. I never even thought it would be an issue for some reason. To me, it was just like, oh, Menela's bisexual, so what? That's who she is. And I think because I approached it that way, I don't think I lost as many readers as I could have. It's just there. That's what it is. That's who she is.
Yeah, and I really can't see her being any other way. I mean, as a poet, my muse works differently than writers' muses do, and I could see the development of each of them, and when I'd heard the rumors about Mentally, I was so excited. Because I have to admit, I read more mainstream than I do lesbian, which I think makes me a bad lesbian, but that's okay.
No, it does not.
But watching her develop and seeing her now getting ready to do the hand fasting and still have that agreement to find partners outside because they have that much trust in each other. I think we have a tendency to judge people even in our own community for those sorts of actions. But with Mentally as a character, you go, you know what? It really isn't that big of a deal. You love who you love, and if you trust that person enough to know that they're going to come back to you, then what is the big deal?
Mm-hmm.
And with Marissa and Mentally, I mean, they have a very tight bond. And in Shadow Rising, you get to see a whole lot more of it. And you get to see them argue now and then. Because all couples argue.
No.
Yeah, I don't let it get to that stage. I know it's so wrong.
I used to not until I met my current wife and only wife, and I've learned to say yes, dear. Okay, honey. I would rather keep her happy, and she's like, yeah, remember I'm sitting here. I can see you.
Oh, Lord. Come on now. Yasmine, you want to tell us a little bit about the book that's just come out?
Shaded Vision. Oh, man, am I punchy tonight? Shaded Vision is Delilah's fourth book. And it's pretty much, the Koyani are back. They're the coyote shifters.
Mm-hmm.
And they are bringing with them the Lord of Ghosts. And this storyline, not the Koyani, but the Lord of Ghosts, is going to be going on for a couple more books, I will tell you that. Because he is big, and he is bad, and he is not easily killed.
Nice.
And as I said, I'm just going to be starting Haunted Moon, and he's still around and causing a hell of a lot of damage.
Sweet.
I could read the blurb, but that would just sound staged. So.
Nah, we don't want it staged.
No.
All right, the listeners can go on your site and look it all up. And by the way, those of you that are listening, you can buy Yasmine's books everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, you name it, you can buy it. It's, yeah, so that's what I'll be doing this weekend. Buying some books. And
I do want to ask you about the idea for Maggie. Because I adore Maggie, and every time I read the books, I'm and the house gets attacked or whatever, I'm like, I will jump through these pages and rip somebody a new asshole if they hurt Maggie.
Well, I have made my readers the promise that Maggie is the only one who gets a free pass. She may be in danger, but I will not hurt Maggie.
Aww.
because I've had so many readers so terrified of that.
Yeah.
Maggie, well, she's a baby calico gargoyle that they rescued from a demon. Camille rescued her from a harpy. And she was going to be the harpy's lunch.
Uh-huh.
Actually, the concept for Maggie, I knew Camille wanted like a pet, but she can't have a cat because of Delilah.
Right.
Or at least she couldn't tell the shaded vision and the way they worked that out. But so a friend of mine in a pet forum, see, I'm a volunteer staff member on a forum for pet owners. And a friend there and I used to joke, and he had this beautiful old kitty named Maggie who was a calico. And he was like, why don't you put Maggie in the book? And so I was like, well, I can't put a cat in the book. And then when Maggie showed up on the Space Needle, when Camille was fighting the harpy, all of a sudden it was just like, oh, her name's Maggie. This is going to be Maggie. So Maggie kind of has her origins in a kitty I met in a pet forum.
Oh, neat.
Mm-hmm.
And that kitty has now gone over the Rainbow Bridge. She was 23 and lived a long, wonderful life. And I think it helps my friend because it kind of immortalizes her for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as the owner of now 2 rescue dogs and 2 rescue cats, I understand that bond you have with an animal that you bring in that might not have otherwise had that chance.
Yeah, Maggie's a rescue, even though she's sentient rather than, well, all animals are sentient, but you know what I mean. She has intelligence above an animalistic level.
Mm-hmm.
Although nobody can tell me cats aren't that smart. I know, I've got 4.
Cats are brilliant. Who are you kidding?
Yeah.
But Maggie also represents innocence. She represents the innocence that can't take care of itself in my work. The innocence that you have to protect. And so, in a sense, the sisters are really, while they're fighting for the world, they're fighting for Maggie too. They're fighting to protect that little part of the world that hasn't been tainted.
Yeah, and you'd like to keep clear from that taint.
And that's why Maggie will not get hurt. There always has to be hope.
Aww.
And I tell you what, with Iris and Mentally as her protectors, I'm pretty sure she's not going to have any problems.
Yeah, hopefully not. But she gets a pass, though, so I'm happy. I do want to see more of her, and I'm hoping that... Do you have Maggie in every book since Bloodwine?
She's in a little bit of every book, but she ages so slowly that there's no way she can be a major character.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's one reason we put her in the comic a lot on my site. You know, you get to see a lot of Maggie on the comic.
Oh.
And I think the bond that she has with Mentally is an amazing one. As a rape survivor, I can understand that connection that you have with something that's not going to judge you, that's not going to talk back to you, not going to force you to talk about it, but who's just there to give you that security.
And also, Mentally is a predator herself. You know, she recognizes the predator within. In my worlds, vampires are predators. They are top of the food chain, other than like the demons and stuff. And Mentally knows the side of herself that could be very dangerous. And Maggie kind of helps keep her in check. It's almost like a checks and balances scale in my work. You know, you've got the potential for the monster there, loving the innocent little creature.
Yeah, and keeping a hold of that tiny bit of humanity.
Yeah, Maggie does help her keep hold of her humanity.
And now that Nerissa's in there, that helps her more too, which is nice. But I don't know, with the whole Bloodwine court showing up, I'm a little worried.
Well, at least Roman gives her a place to exercise that part of herself without hurting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Although she does go after the scum of the earth, and boy, did I get called on by one reader about that,
Really?
Where? I'll beat her up.
No, I want to know why. Are you comfortable talking about it?
I got hate mail about mentally going after God, was it Demon Mistress? Yeah, I think it was Demon Mistress. When she went after the guy who was trying to pimp out the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got hate mail about that.
Oh, geez.
Because that poor guy was probably just trying to make money to take home to his grandma or something. And I'm just like, he was a freaking pusher, and he was a pimp, and he, exploited kids. Sorry.
Okay, time to go.
You had a problem with that? Or you don't have a problem with that?
That scares me more.
Yeah. No kidding. Damn.
Well, I think they were triggered because they actually could have called me a racist because his name is Roberto. And I'm just like, there are good and bad people in every race and every gender.
That's the damn truth.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know what race he was. I mean, there's no saying he was Hispanic. There's no saying he was Caucasian. His name was Roberto, sorry.
And he was a jackass. He deserved to die. It's all good with me.
Yeah, hey, I'm good with that.
Yeah, Mendeley doesn't have any problem playing the judge.
And jury and executioner.
Yep. Yep. So
I'm hooked. I'm hooked, and I will be a loyal fan until you end the series.
Yeah, no lie. No lie.
Well, I hope the series goes on for a while. I can see I've got several other major story arcs that I'm working on with it that are just starting to come out. And when the Spirit Seals do tie up, if the series is still popular and people are still buying it, then I'd be happy to go on and expand on those story arcs. I'm setting it up in advance.
Nice.
Good.
That's talent, that's why.
Yeah, I am such an avid reader, but I have certain authors that I have to have. I have to keep that entire series, and if I started buying it in hardback, then I want all the books in hardback. Or, I've always liked it. Did your publisher ever try to get you to go into hardback, or has the paperback always been your choice?
It's never your choice as an author.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have not put me in hardback, and frankly, I'm kind of glad right now. I'd love to be in hardback. I really would. However, sales drop off so much when you're in hardback.
Oh, they're expensive. Yeah.
And people think that authors are the ones who make that choice, and we don't.
No.
And so I'd rather keep my audience, my sell-through rate, and my audience at a higher level with paperback at this point while the economy is still so rough. Because it's one thing to buy a book for $8, and it's another thing to sit there and look at a book that's going to cost you $25.
Yeah, that's true. I bought your book on iTunes. I got it on ebook for my iPad.
Yeah.
Which, I'm an ebook whore now, so.
It's funny. I cannot read ebooks. I just cannot use an ebook reader. It drives me up the wall.
Huh.
See, and I hate that my work is on an ebook and it's so easily pirated.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm getting pirated right and left, and I'm losing so much money.
It makes me want to go beat the shit out of people. It
does. It does. I get furious.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that, and you can try to keep track of them, and while I understood some of what Congress wanted to do with the online piracy stuff, the other part of it just censored so much that I couldn't agree with the entire bill. But if they could find a way to protect the ebooks and make it so that once you buy it, it scrambles if you try to copy it or forward it or something, then I'd be all right with that. Because I'm not looking for censorship, but I'm also not looking for somebody to take the money out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Well, the pirates, basically, they are not going to go out and buy the books. I'm sorry, they just aren't. They can get them for free.
Yeah.
Right? And frankly, if you go into a bookstore and you pick up a paperback and you walk out with it, well, I'm sorry, that's theft. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you actively trying to get the sites pulled down? I know there are several authors that are doing that.
Every time I get a pirate link or something, I send it to my publisher, and they go take care of it.
Oh,
Berkeley
good.
is really pretty good about dealing with that.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't have time to do it myself.
Well, no, you're too busy writing, which is what you should be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes. I've had friends who spent like a day a week dealing with pirates,
Yeah, that's nuts.
and after a fire, you just can't.
Yeah, and I found the biggest, I'm not sure why, but the biggest contributors to piracy are actually in South America, which kind of blew my mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, at least for the lesbian community. I don't know how it is in more mainstream, but most of us that have been pirated have been out of South America. And it's just, okay, but at the same time, I want to fly down there and just beat the crap out of somebody for not understanding that is theft.
Well, I try to explain it to my readers this way: is if sales stop or diminish, quite a bit, the series will stop because you won't be offered any more contracts. I'm sorry, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
And once sales drop off too far, they're not going to publish you anymore. So it really hurts the readers in the long run who love those series if the books are being pirated. And when you explain it that way, a lot of the readers will work with you. I mean, if you can't afford it, go to the library. The libraries buy our books.
Yeah.
Go to the library, go to a used bookstore even, because it's one copy at a time, and you're not putting it up online, and it's not the same thing as piracy.
Mm-hmm.
Or borrow it. Go on my site if you don't know if you're going to like it, and read the first chapter. I've got the first chapters of almost every one of my books up there.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
It's a good way. It's a good way to let people see your style, because you can tell in a chapter if you're going to like a person's writing or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
true.
agree with that. And your cover artists.
Oh, I love Tony. Tony is wonderful.
Just amazing artwork.
He is brilliant. I've commissioned him. I've had him do Trillion and Smokey and Morio and now Shade. I now have postcards of Shade for my readers. And if you go to my fan site, moonstalkers.com, you can see how to request those.
Excellent.
Y'all need to get those because there's a few of her characters that might be men but have made me turn my head and look the other way.
Get the hell out, really? Okay, now I gotta go look. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, man.
It's kind of like I have one crush. It's Shamar Moore, and I thought that man was so fine until my mother told me she had a crush on him, and I said, okay, I quit now,
Yeah, you don't want to have a crush on the same guy your mom does. That's not right.
No, and she's like, well, I didn't like men anyway. I'm like, Mom, I can enjoy pretty. Pretty is good,
Yeah, sure.
Pretty is pretty. I don't care. That man is pretty.
I do know how to write pretty men.
Nice. Which book cover is he on?
Well, actually, Smokey's on Courting Darkness.
Okay.
But if you go to moonstalkers.com, you can see the glimpse of postcards that you can get from me of the men.
All right, I'll check it out.
Well, see, now I'm going to have to go because I want signed ones of all of them.
Uh-oh.
Is that okay, honey? Let me check with my wife real quick. Is that okay? I got the thumbs up. We're good.
That's so not right.
Oh, hey, my husband won't let me put Smokey's poster up on my wall.
Oh, my.
Well, any being that has independent
in my office
hair.
is fine, My office is fine, but not the bedroom wall.
That might be a little distracting for him.
I love Smokey's hair.
Oh, I was just going to independently moving hair is always a good thing.
Independently moving hair? Oh, my God. You guys are going to...
He can do a lot of different things with his hair, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
My friend, my comic book artist, JL, and I call it bondage here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's funny.
Sweet. Now we're going to get into the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan and will stay a fan, and I have no problem shouting it from the rooftops. I've just truly enjoyed the Otherworld series, the Night Vale. Just everything that you write is so different and so unique, and yet you almost kind of feel like you know you through the reading of the work, but at the same time you think, boy, give me 5 minutes with that woman and let me ask some questions with nobody else around.
God. Yeah, I really like the pacing of the story. It's fabulous, because you give us the roller coaster, then you calm it down a little bit and give us a breather, and then you go back to the intensity, and then you go, and then you like back off a little bit, So it's great,
I majored in theater, and that's where my ability to pace comes from.
Ah.
Because I learned the pacing of plays. I learned, how you build up. You build up and you build up, and then you've got to ease back and give people a minute to breathe, and then you build up. So, majoring in directing, which is what I was focused on, helps me direct the entire world when I write. I mean, I always knew I was going to be a writer from the time I was 3 years old, but theater, I loved theater, and it had many happy memories for me, actually.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I
can imagine that though, because in theater you can manipulate people.
Oh yeah.
As a poet, I put out what I feel, and I don't do happy Hallmark moments. That's not my thing. I write based on my experiences, and while you never get details of places or things, I will rip your heart out, stomp on it, and mail it home to your mama. But that's just my point of view. And in poetry, you can take it in so many different ways. It's like reading a book. You're going to have different people that take it different ways.
I read poetry for a lot of years.
Oh, I love it. It's my therapy. It's cheaper than $100 an hour.
It's even better if you can make $100 an hour.
Yeah, but I can imagine, with theater, you can manipulate people so subtly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just body language alone.
Yeah.
And one of my huge influences, actually, in the literary world was Ray Bradbury. He is my favorite author. And reading his work, even as a kid, it taught me that words can make music. You can make music with your words by how you word them and by how you put them together. And I will forever be grateful to him and his talent for basically sweeping me away and making me realize that you can just take someone totally out of their world with your words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you could see me, you would know that I'm doing the I'm not worthy to Ray Bradbury. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I would go so fangirl if I ever got to meet him. I would cry.
I can't
now
imagine.
I'm almost thinking I would pay for something like that to watch, How can I manipulate this situation?
Ray Bradbury or Gary Newman, either one, for different reasons.
No,
I am known for my fangirl crushes on Gary Newman, but that's another matter.
Mm-hmm.
She says slyly.
Yeah, right? I'm thinking, no, she's not elaborating on this one. Oh, God. So anything exciting or cutting edge that you might want to announce on the show?
Well, I just finished... What did I just finish? Copy edits for Night Seeker, which comes out July 3rd.
Nice.
And that is book 3 in the Indigo Court series.
Yes.
And a lot happens in that book. Some major shifts and you get more Lannon. Lannon has a fan club, and frankly, I'm just like, okay. Yes, he is the golden boy, and he's very perverted, but yeah.
That's an understatement, I believe. I'm just sitting here thinking who I have to bribe to get a copy of it ahead of time.
But, so that's coming out in July, and in October 30th will be the release date for Shadow Rising, which is book 12 of the Otherworld series, and that will be Meneley's next book.
Nice.
And again, a lot happens in that. A lot is happening in all of my books. I will be at the Romantic Times convention at RT in April, and that'll be in Chicago. And I will be at RWA Nationals in Anaheim in July. And I will be at Authors After Dark in New Orleans in August.
Oh, nice.
Oh, don't talk about New Orleans. I miss food.
So drive your ass down there.
I have never been east of Idaho.
What?
I live in Washington. I've never been east of Idaho.
I mean, I did hear what you said, but I'm stunned.
I am too.
I'm not a big traveler. I like being places. I don't like going places. I'm not afraid of flying or anything, but I don't do well traveling.
So you'd rather just be able to have that ability to shift into the...
If they gave me a teleporter, I'd be so happy.
I kind of agree with you, especially after living in Hawaii for 3 years. It's about a 15-hour plane ride to get back to the East Coast, and that's just hellacious, to put it mildly.
My husband lived on the Big Island for a number of years when he was younger, and my mother-in-law's over there, and I love the Big Island. It's so vibrant and so alive.
Yeah, we were stationed on Oahu, and people ask what I miss about it, and honestly, I miss swimming with the sharks and the turtles more than anything.
I like sitting by the edge of the ocean and watching the lava go into the sea because I'm a major volcano nut, you know? I love volcanoes and dinosaurs and mummies.
Did you take the morning tours out where you could see the fog just as the sunrise was coming up over it?
No, because we were over on the Big Island, and so, because that's where his family was. And I was on crutches at the time, and I did make it up to the volcano at least. But
that's good.
It was very hard to get around because I was in a lot of pain at that point.
Oh, no.
But
I hope you... Back. Yeah, I was going to just say, I hope you get to go back. The one place we didn't get to spend as much time as we would have liked is, what's the last island? Now I'm drawing a blank. Kauai. Which is just absolutely still raw, uncharted territory if you've ever been there. They have one little section. Yeah, it's one section that's resort-like, and the rest of the island is, well, good luck, because if anything happens to you, you're screwed.
Ack.
With my luck.
Yeah, no.
I always seem to beat the odds, which is very good in some ways and kind of scary in others.
Mm-hmm. I'd say so.
You know, it's like I have some of the oddest stuff happen to me.
Interesting. So, should we play the cocktail hour game?
Yes.
Because, our listeners love the cocktail hour game. You do not have to play if you don't want to, Yasmine.
Yeah, sitting there going, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
You can remain, mute, no problem. The game is Who Would You Fuck? That is the game. So of the characters in the stories, I'm having obviously to pull from Blood Wine because I haven't read anything else. Which character, if you could have a night with, which would it be? Yep, that's the game.
Hey, I write those scenes. I don't have to think about that.
Oh, yeah. Rub it in. All right, Shawn, you want to go first?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Unless you're asking. You can ask me something and I'll answer, but...
All right, I'll go first then.
Okay.
I'm electing Camille. That's what I'm saying. Yep. I'm thinking.
But she's curvy.
That's what I'm thinking. Woo! I'm thinking she'd be
she's my favorite to write.
Yeah, nice little roll in hay.
I can respect that. I'm kind of torn between Delilah and Mentally, just because if I had to choose between being a shifter or a vampire, I would end up dying of natural causes because I could never decide. Because I want to be both.
So you can't decide, huh?
If
You're under the gun, sister. Come on, you got performance anxiety? What?
I do not have performance. Well, my wife is staring at me, but okay.
It ain't right.
You were talking about my books. Why not both?
Well, that's true.
I could. Two at once. I'm there. If I had to choose, though, I'd probably go with Mentally, just because I understand so many of those anger issues, and am not opposed to rough and violent sex.
Well, there you have it.
She's laughing. She's got that evil giggle.
Yeah, she's got that evil giggle because she's.
We're against you.
Yeah, because you know I want to know what the hell she's thinking right that minute. You know?
Especially with that little giggle.
So, okay. You sure you don't want to weigh in a little bit more on this one, Yasmine? You don't have to.
Well, as I said, I get to write the scenes, so I get to do everything with everybody.
Yeah. Kind of like gluttony a little bit, I'm thinking. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, in that case, guess what? She wins.
She wins. Oh, my God.
I've actually had people ask me if I enjoy writing the sex scenes, and I'm like, I'd better, otherwise you wouldn't enjoy reading them.
Yeah,
Let me go practice this, and then I'll come back and write about it. Hold on.
That's the way to go.
I did write a sex magic book,
Yeah. And it's funny is I never saw Roman coming. I don't mean literally. I mean in the. Yeah. Let me correct that. I didn't expect them to go and pair up. Him and Mentally. That really kind of surprised me when I first read it. But I mean, it was still like it was still an organic experience. I didn't have a problem with it, but I just didn't expect that to happen. So that was a nice little surprise.
Hey, that was a surprise to me too.
I can understand that she can have that freedom to let that part of her out that you can't show anybody else because you're either afraid of judgment or afraid of hurting someone. And so she can really get animalistic and raw with Roman. Mm-hmm. And then she gets the comfort and the loving and the gentleness with Nerissa, but at the same time, Nerissa's not afraid to use those nails.
No, she isn't.
Well, she's a
full-on vampire,
Yeah. She's a werepuma, right?
Yeah, she's a werepuma, and she studied under Venus the Moonchild, who was the shaman for her tribe, her pride. So she can take Mentally darker side, but physically she probably couldn't stand up to some of the roughness that went on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I just love the characters. Just love them.
I'm so happy for Iris.
Iris, I love Iris. And what's so funny? So many people kept seeing her as a grandmother for a long time. And I was just like, every book she's described as milkmaid pretty, very, Swiss Alps type, Nordic.
See, I never saw Iris that way.
I'm glad. I'm actually glad.
Yeah, because you can just sense that anybody who's got the balls to deal with 3 half-human, half-fae, late teen, early 20s kids can't be a pushover.
Oh, and Iris isn't.
No.
Iris is hell on wheels, man. And now that the pregnancy hormones are coming out, oh, yeah.
I have to admit that scene at the bachelorette party, that I was rolling on the floor laughing because all I could think, one of the kids we took in Hawaii got pregnant, and we were there through the whole thing, and the whole morning sickness scene on the, oh God, I killed myself laughing because I could actually picture Half Pint doing that. I really could, and I was like, oh, I would have just been laughing so hard they would have kicked me out of the club anyway, but the way you wrote that was so funny.
And I loved writing her wedding. Her wedding was one I wasn't going to spoil.
Jack, you kept putting that in there with all of them, that nothing had better spoiled this. Right?
I mean, granted, Maggie yanked the cake off the table.
I was just going to say, the cake was...
That didn't ruin the wedding. It just sort of was a Maggie thing.
But, yeah, I think any kid that is not quite the center of attention would do something such as that to get that attention. Not intentionally, maybe, but hey, look what I did.
I think also Maggie was smelling the cake. And it was like, ooh, what's that? Sort of like when my cats try to steal my food off my dish.
So, yeah, we just took into, and Keats is all black with a little white spot on his chest, and he has these chartreuse eyes. And now that he's gotten a little bit more bold about coming down the stairs and investigating, he has a thing for muffins.
Muffins?
And so no matter where I put them, either up in the refrigerator or, you think, oh, the back of the stove, they'll be fine. You come down in the morning and there's little bits and pieces of either blueberry or poppy seed muffin all over the floor. Like, dude, you're killing me.
That's cute.
Well, my almost 19-year-old cat, she's gotten to the point where if she wants it, she will try to take it. It's just like, I'm 18 and a half. That's mine.
I've earned this.
That's cute.
Yeah, she's earned it. And, so it's like, okay, I make sure I have extra on my plate usually so that I can give her some because she likes to sleep on my desk. And when I'm working at my computer, I eat at my computer, which is a habit I'd like to break, but it's probably not going to happen.
Oh, I love it when you post the pictures of them up on Twitter. This is me trying to get work done, and the cat's laid across the keyboard. Okay.
Today, Kaylee was after the 10. We have our 18-and-a-half-year-old Claire, and then we have what I call the babies. They aren't really babies anymore, but they're still babies compared to her. Because we had 3 other senior kitties, and I lost them all within 6 months. I lost 2 of them in 3 days.
Oh.
And in 2008, and it was just absolute hell. And so now we have Calypso, who is a tortoiseshell, and we have Bridget, who is a red girl, and they're both 3.5 now. And then we have Morgana, or Morgan, and she's part Bengal and lives in her own little world, and she is going on 3 years old. So we have the babies, and we have Claire. And Kaylee is absolutely in love with my 10-key adding machine.
Wait.
She is. The minute she hears that thing go off, whenever I'm using it, she is here knocking stuff off my desk to get to it so she can hug it. I have a video on my YouTube channel of her hugging 10-key.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
She loves 10-key. 10-key is her friend. 10-key is her buddy. She hugs it. She chews on the paper. She makes it. She pounds on the keys. I mean, 10-key is hers,
Wow. I didn't even have a clue anybody would actually have a 10-key in their house.
Okay.
Are we talking about the machine where you add and you pull the lever?
No, it's the 10-key calculator.
Oh, okay, never mind. I had this vision of this gigantic old-time dinosaur looking... Oh, never mind. Okay, we'll just pretend like we didn't...
I use it for my bills,
I got you. No problem. I was thinking the old dinosaur with a pull handle, almost looking like the one-armed bandit. Never mind.
How many rum and cokes have you had?
Hey. I hear 10-key, I think of the old dinosaur. What can I tell you?
That you're old?
What?
You just dated yourself with that whole commentary.
Listen,
there,
sister, when I first, when I first started in banking in 1980, they actually had one of those stupid ass things. I couldn't believe it. I looked at it and went, didn't these get replaced like 30 years ago? Oh my God. But
Should I say something that'll really piss you off?
Yeah, go ahead.
1980, I was 8.
Oh, that ain't right. Oh my God.
I was older than that, so.
Yeah, okay. I'm always the dinosaur. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, I have to say, I think it's really, really cool, Yasmine, how you put in the back of the books the music that you were listening to when you wrote them.
Yeah.
That is
I have
awesome.
A lot of people who get interested in that, so I started doing that because I thought it was kind of cool.
It is cool.
And I find that a very good way to find songs or bands that I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Yeah, because I listen to an interesting variety. It's like my musical tastes are not mild.
Yeah, especially with Closer. I saw you put that 9 Inch Nails Closer, and I went, I could see how you could write to that with some of those scenes in that story.
I like Marilyn Manson and Megadeth. Well, not Megadeth, that's my husband. Gary Newman and 9 Inch Nails, and there's a new group that I really like called A Pale Horse Named Death. And one of their songs I use for Lannon's theme song. It's called Meet the Wolf. And it is Lannon to a T.
Really? I'm gonna have to listen. I've never heard of them. I'll have to check them out.
I know. I'm writing it down on my phone now.
That's pretty awesome. Wow, well, we've covered a lot of information.
I could be talking, and usually I'll just chatter on a lot more than this. I'm just, as I said, kind of brain dead from the past few weeks.
That's not a problem. We're really, really happy that you came on the show.
Yeah, appreciate you taking the time.
It's pretty damn awesome, I gotta say.
It was a fun way to spend some time.
Sure.
As I said, I just came off 2 deadlines, so I'm just sitting here at my computer staring at the screen.
Just chilling. I got you.
Well, we'd love to do this again in a couple books down the line, if that's all right with you.
That'd be great if we could make sure to get it planned in advance. It would help because I'm planning everything in advance now.
Well, you've got to.
Yeah, I have Andrea's email, so
yeah.
I will keep in touch with her.
Now I know how to use Google Chat, so.
Yeah, now you know how to do Google Chat.
Good that I'm not the only virgin in this. I'm used to Skype, so. And it's been a long time since I could say I was a virgin at anything.
Oh, that's not right.
I must admit, I hate Google Plus. I really hate Google Plus. But I'm there for things like this, because otherwise it's my chat room, because I will not do a video chat. So.
Me either. Not until I get all buff again.
Me too. Just not quite comfortable with that.
I don't blame you. Well, thank you. And again, you're welcome on any time. And yes, we'll schedule. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Well, it was nice to be there, be here. And thank you. And I'm glad you like the work. And, that's what's most important to me is, as I always say, I write for myself and my readers. I don't write for the critics,
Yeah, to hell with them.
Yeah, it's like I write for the people who are my audience, who love my books.
Mm-hmm. We got a new convert here.
They can find me on Facebook and Twitter, though I'm not on there quite as much as I used to be. And I also have forums on my site, and I've got, as I said, postcards of the men, if you want those.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have book postcards that I can send out. And they're almost like little art cards of the book cover.
Nice.
So that's, I guess, about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again. We've really had a good time and appreciate you taking time out and stopping to chat.
No problem. Thank you, and have a good weekend.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.